We've been using the student grades database as an example, but I've decided that for the things that we're doing, we needed a database that was a little more robust. So I've created a new one called Bakery, and Bakery is going to store a lot of different information for us. We're going to call it Bakery. And in Bakery, we are going to have customers, and we're going to keep track of an ID for them for the primary key. And we'll keep track of their business name and address. Obviously, you might want more than that, but for this database, that'll be sufficient. And then we are going to keep track of different recipes we have. And for those recipes, we're going to have different ingredients. And for the ingredients, we're going to store the name of the ingredient and how many calories are in the ingredient and what kind of units we're using to measure this calorie information. So are we measuring a cup of this thing or a tablespoon or whatever? We could keep track of other information in terms of vitamins and that kind of stuff that's stored in the ingredients, but we're just doing calories for this example. And then we're going to keep track of different cookies. Could have had, I guess, other baked goods in here and just call this baked goods, but I decided to call it cookies. And for the cookies, we're going to have the name of the cookie, and we're going to reference an ingredient. So each record is going to have one ingredient for the cookie, and then as we store more records, then we'll get all the ingredients for the cookies. So we're going to have an int that points up to an ingredient up here. We'll have an amount for that ingredient, and again, what measurement we're using, cups, tablespoons, teaspoons, that kind of thing. And we're just making it clear that this int here is a foreign key up to the ingredients, and cookie name, on the other hand, is going to turn out to be the same as, let's see if I got this right. Oh, sorry, next table. Okay, we're going on to orders. So we can have orders, and this is going to be, we're going to have an order number, and then we'll have a customer, a cookie name, and a quantity for each cookie. And the customer is a foreign key. The cookie name is not a foreign name because cookie name is not, where did it go? Primary key, there it is. So cookie name is not a primary key because it's not going to be a unique identifier for each record. We're going to have multiple entries for each cookie name, in fact, when we list all the ingredients in that table. All right, so now what we have here is a bunch of insert statements. So here's the values we're going to have. Elrod's Pizza is going to be in Pittsford. Scooby's Snacks is going to be on TV Land, and Joe's Eats is going to be in Greece. A little play on words there. All right, maybe not so funny. And ingredients, we're going to have a very short list: flour, sugar, butter, and chocolate chips. And I made up some values, so don't use this as a nutritional guide. Made up some values for the calories and the measurements. And butter, I gave a lot of calories to. And for cookies, so this, I think this illustrates what's going on with the cookie table. For sugar cookie, we're going to have 3 different entries into the cookies table. So for sugar cookie, let's see, where did this go? We have an ingredient. So this is the first ingredient, so that's flour. And then this is 1 cup of flour. Then this is going to be sugar is the second ingredient, or second in the ingredient list. And we have 1 cup of that. And then for sugar cookies, we also have some butter, and we have 1 cup of that. And then we have chocolate chip cookies. I wouldn't use this as a recipe, by the way. Did not look this up. This is definitely not a good recipe. For chocolate chip cookies, we have 1 cup of flour. We have 1 1/4 cups of sugar. And we have a cup of butter. And then 2 cups of chocolate chips. Now that part can't be bad, I suppose. And then we have some orders. So let's see, this is Elrod's Pizza. And Elrod's Pizza is ordering a, let's see, what do we have here? Order number, oh, sorry, this is the first order. And this is the ID for the customer. So this is Elrod's. they're ordering 100 sugar cookies. And on the same order, number 1, they are also ordering 200 chocolate chip cookies. Then they place a second order. So this is Elrod's again, number 1. They place a second order for sugar cookies, and they need 120 more. Then the third order, now we have, let's see, this is Scooby Snacks. They're ordering 400 chocolate chips. And on a different, oh, let's see, that's all they order, right? And then Joe's Eats places 2 orders. The first order, order number 4, they have 400 sugar cookies and 500 chocolate chip cookies. And on the 5th order, they order 800 chocolate chip cookies. So apparently chocolate chip cookies are very, very popular at Joe's Eats. And I may add to this table as things go on and I need more stuff, but for right now, this will get us started. But the relationships between these tables is a little more complicated, and so it's going to be a little bit more useful for the kinds of things that we're going to be doing. So for this one, I'm actually just going to review a little bit. Again, we're doing group by. I'm going to introduce a couple different things in here. All right, so we're going to use the bakery database, and from here, we're going to make a table, and we're going to have the cookie name. We're going to have a list of ingredients, the amount of that ingredient, how it's measured, and then the calories and the units for the calories. And we're going to select all that stuff from cookies, join ingredients. So it's a little review on how to do a join, 2 different tables, join and cookies. And we're going to do that when the cookies ingredient ID is equal to the ID ingredient. And we're going to group that by cookie name. So we're going to have 2 different cookies here, chocolate chip and sugar cookies. All right, so let's see what happens when we execute this thing. Hopefully good things. And that would be the first one. So here we go. We have chocolate chip. And let's see. Now when we group this, oh yeah, remember I'm violating my own rule here, aren't I? I've got all this stuff here that I'm listing that I really don't need to be listing, huh? Because that's not in the group by business. And you know what? I got rid of a query that I had written before this where I didn't do the group by. So let's skip the grouping. And we're just going to list the join. So sugar cookies have flour, sugar, and butter, 1 cup of each, and there's 100 calories per cup for your flour, 150 calories per cup for sugar, and a lot of calories per tablespoon for butter. And then chocolate chip cookies have 4 different ingredients: flour, sugar, butter, and chocolate chips. And then this lists how much for those ingredients in the chocolate chip cookies and their calorie counts. So this could be just a useful little way to print out some information about your recipes. And then when I went ahead and did the group by, I did exactly what I said don't do and listed all this stuff. In the previous video I said don't do this. Listed all this stuff and then grouped by cookie name. So of course what it did was it just picked the first ingredient it found for chocolate chip cookies and listed its information for that. Okay, that was silly. Shouldn't have done that. All right. Now for cookie name, suppose that I want to know how many ingredients I have in each cookie. So I want to say, yeah, how many ingredients are there in a sugar cookie? So we're going to count then the table. Remember that the table for cookies has a list of the ingredients. So we're going to count just how many records there are in that table for each different cookie name. And we're going to join the cookies and the ingredients together. So this is a little bit different grouping than we've done before. We're joining cookies and ingredients as we did before. So that's going to look like this table. And then we're going to go through and count by cookie name. So we're going to count these and then we'll count these. And what we should get is 4 chocolate chips and 3 sugars. So there's not really anything new here. I do have one, so this is I'm going to introduce two new things now. And again, this is just giving you more examples for how to use these commands. And I'm doing something a little bit different here than I have before because I'm doing a join on this table. So I'm first creating this table using the join, and then I'm doing a group by inside this bigger table from the join version. So that is new. Now I'm going to introduce a different command. So this is the same basic query as my count. The only difference is when you do this query, the select cookie name, do the count, look at the column heading, it's count star. So it puts as a column heading exactly what you've put here as your aggregate function in the group by. That's not really brilliant. So you can specify as, and so instead of saying count, I'm going to say I want number of ingredients. So if we go over here to result 24, the only difference between this result and the previous result is I've changed the column heading using the as. And then one last thing, I'm going to introduce something new. So we have group by, but it turns out you can also order by. And in this case, I'm going to order by calories. I'm going to look at ingredients from, let's see, this is the ingredients table. Okay, so let's go back and take a peek at that. And ingredients, we had the flour, the sugar, the butter, the chocolate chips. So we're going to look at, so this is a basic order by. And so we're choosing from the ingredients table. We're going to select the ingredient name. And we're only going to look at, so I'm going to throw a where clause in here. And this is similarly, you can throw a where clause in the group by. I only want to look at ingredients where the units are cups. And I'm going to order those by calories in ascending order. And so if we do that, then we get flour and sugar. I guess I could tack calories on here too, just so we can actually see the calories. And there we go. So you can order by, very similar to group by, order by calories, or order by any column that you can sort. So it doesn't have to be numeric. Calories is numeric, but you can sort alphanumeric information like names or that kind of thing. So anything that you can sort, you can do an order by on. Okay, so not a lot of new information here, but just, a more robust example using group by a little bit differently, putting some joins in there, throwing in now order by. So hopefully this is some new and interesting information and can lead to an interesting exercise.